Joining us now, Kellyanne Conway, the newly tapped campaign manager for Donald Trump. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you for having me, David.
Congrats on the new role.
Thank you.
We heard last night that sort of new tone. He actually said that sometimes along the way, in the heat of the moment, you say the wrong thing. But he went further. Donald Trump saying, "I do regret it, particularly where it may have caused personal pain." What was he talking about?
He was talking about anyone who feels offended by anything he said, and that's all him. You know, he took extra time yesterday going over that speech with a pen. So that was a decision he made. Those are his words. And I hope that everybody who's criticized him at some point, David, for being insensitive or for mocking someone, at least show some recognition and some forgiveness.
But you mentioned anyone who's been personally offended by what he said. You know, John McCain early on when he said, you know, he's a war hero because he was captured. I like people who weren't captured. What he said about the Khans just weeks ago. Will he reach out to the Khan family personally?
He may, but I certainly hope that they heard him last night. And I certainly hope America heard him last night, because of all the people, David, who have been saying, hey, let's get Trump to pivot, let's get him to be more presidential. That is presidential. And it's also presidential today to have him and Governor Pence going to Louisiana in a decidedly non-political event, no press allowed, going to help people on the ground who are in need.
You mentioned a moment ago that these were his words, that he worked on this speech personally, but you're a couple of days in as the new campaign manager. What he said about the Khans was weeks ago. Why the regret now? Some people might say, was that you?
It was not me. That's all Donald Trump. He's the candidate here. I'm not.
But why the regret now?
Well, it's an expression of regret. Perhaps he felt it before, but he expressed it now. And I think if you look at the full measure of the man, this is somebody who those of us who know him personally behind the scenes see day by day. He just promoted a woman to campaign manager without ever mentioning to me my gender, which I think is quite remarkable. I'm insulted routinely by liberal men everywhere, and yet a conservative man promoted me to campaign manager. That's very symptomatic of who he is, all the women he has promoted and compensated at the Trump organization. And I think that that story is going to be very important to voters as well, because you need to look at the full measure of the man.
As we move forward, we've heard this repeated line of attack from Donald Trump now about Hillary Clinton's health, actually saying that she doesn't have the mental and physical stamina to take on ISIS and our many adversaries. Donald Trump is 70. Hillary Clinton is 68, and suggesting that she has stamina issues. How do you think this will sit with some voters, particularly women? You saw the new Pew numbers overnight, that he's down significantly, almost 20 points to Hillary Clinton among women. How do you think they're going to take this stamina argument?
Well, David, we're going to fight for everybody's vote, and we recognize that all issues are women's issues. I've not, in the 28 years of doing this, ever heard the term men's issues. It's just believed that men can handle all issues, and we can only talk about health care or just education. We can handle everything, I'm pretty sure, as women, and we're going to earn their votes.
But on the stamina, do you think there's a real question about her stamina?
What I think is that Donald Trump is very difficult to keep up with him. It's hard to remember that he's 70 on a daily basis. He's more energetic than most of us on the campaign trail. And on this, you know, Hillary Clinton routinely, including just yesterday, insults Donald Trump. Every time she's asked a question about a policy position of her own, she takes an opportunity to insult Donald Trump. She's going to insult Donald Trump. We're going to talk directly to the voters. And I absolutely hope that this campaign pivots to substance, because we want to challenge her on the issues. We want to ask her to own Obamacare, Aetna, United Healthcare pulling out of 30 states and 11 of the 15 states, saying that they've suffered $1.5 billion in combined losses just because of Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. National security. Well, that's right. I mean, people feel less prosperous and less safe. So I would rather lose an election that was based on style and a content-free cacophony if it doesn't mean that we can win on substance.
We have to go. The trip to Louisiana today. Safe trip. Kellyanne,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here.